Hello, good day to all. My name is Mohamad Arieff Shamida. I'm a PhD student from SAGI University. Today, I'll be presenting my research paper entitled Malaysian ESL Teachers Feedback on the Lower Primary English Language Textbook, a Case Study. So this will be the outline for my presentation today. Moving on. Instructional materials such as textbooks are central in the teaching and learning of English language because they are used to complement efficiency of teacher as well as the effectiveness in lesson delivery. It provides the much needed sensory experiences needed by the learners for an effective and meaningful behavioral change. In addition to that, for inexperienced teachers, it is often difficult for them to think of ideas on how to conduct an effective language learning class as they have very little experience in the field. So the textbook serves as a friend or facilitator which provide ideas to them as well as a psychological support to the teachers in which they need to improve themselves in planning and conducting lesson. Besides, textbook also acts as the best source of knowledge to the students in their learning process. All of this shows how important textbook is, not just for the teachers but also for the student. With today's rapid growth in information and communication technology and the growing importance of the role of English as a tool for information, business, and innovation, there has been a call to ensure Malaysian students have the required English language proficiency to become keen global players in the regional and global market. This resulted in the Malaysian Ministry of Education launching a number of educational blueprints in 2015. Among them was the English Language Education Reform, which is part of the implementation of the Malaysia Education Blueprint 2013 to 2025, which aimed to reform English language education in the country. Thus, a number of initiatives were launched, such as the upskilling of close to 40,000 ESL teachers' English language proficiency and aligning the Malaysian English language school curriculum to the Common European Framework of Reference, CEFR, which is a guide developed by the Council of Europe to gauge foreign language proficiency. Another initiative was the ensuring of better English language teaching materials, such as the textbooks. Hence, in the beginning of 2018, all Malaysian public school pupils in Year 1 and Year 2 were introduced to English language textbooks from the United Kingdom. One such book was the Superminds Level 1 textbook, which was used for a duration of 2 years for primary Year 1 and Year 2 ESL pupils. This textbook, written by Herbert Pukta, Gunter Gamgros, and Peter Lewis Jones, is published by Cambridge University Press. This move was viewed as a mean to expose and raise the standard of English language proficiency among Malaysian pupils. As we all know, textbook plays a very important role in the teaching and learning process as it serves as a guide for the teachers in creating effective lesson as well as acting as the basis of content of learning. Therefore, it is very important for textbook to have contents that can help to enhance the teaching and learning process in the classroom as well as contributing positively to students' development in acquiring the knowledge. However, since the introduction of the Superminds Level 1 textbook in the beginning of 2018 in Malaysia, various parties have voiced their concern regarding the current textbook, especially in terms of its contextual and cultural elements, which is very unfamiliar to the students. The textbook specifically carried foreign contents without the local contents, and some of the references within may be alien to Malaysian pupils, especially those from the rural areas. So, with the numerous concerns aired by Malaysian teachers and parents, and with limited studies been done in terms of teachers' perspectives on the use of this textbook, it is therefore very important that a study to be conducted to investigate the teachers' perspectives of the current textbook based on 4 aspects, which are the curriculum and syllabus, teaching and learning content, physical and utilitarian attributes, as well as the supporting materials in order to gain more insights from their point of view. Moving on to the research methodology. So the aim of this study is to investigate Malaysian ESL teachers' feedback on the lower primary English language textbook based on the 4 aspects mentioned before. So this study employed a descriptive research design with a quantitative approach, in which such a design allowed the researcher to describe the characteristics of the population, namely the Malaysian ESL teachers, and the phenomenon being studied, namely the teacher's feedback of the implementation of the Superminds Level 1 English Language textbook in Year 1 and Year 2 ESL classrooms. The data were collected via a survey questionnaire from 60 primary Year 1 and Year 2 English language teachers in Baling District, Kedah. The questionnaire comprised two main sections. Section A explored teachers' feedback on the English language textbook based on the 4 aspects mentioned before. Meanwhile, the section B of this questionnaire explored the main issues and concerns that the teachers face in using the textbook in primary ESL classroom through open-ended questions. This survey questionnaire is adapted from Mukundan and Kalajahi 2013 study. So the findings that we get from the section A of the questionnaire, which explored teachers' feedback on the English language textbook based on the 4 aspects. From the findings in table 1, as you can see from the slides, it can be seen that the ESL teachers generally held a fair positive perspective of the textbook on all the 4 aspects investigated, in which the mean is 3.299. In-depth analysis in terms of the section A of the questionnaire indicate that the teachers did have some concerns with all aspects with regards to the following. In terms of the curriculum and syllabus, majority of the teachers felt that the content did fulfill the needs of the curriculum and syllabus, as the book covered all 4 main language skills of listening, speaking, reading, and writing, but fell short in terms of local context and learner needs. Meanwhile, in terms of the physical and utilitarian attributes, overall teachers felt that the book was well presented, especially in terms of the color, size, and layout, but a majority were not happy with the cost of the textbook, as it was 4 times higher than the price of the previous local textbook. Besides, teachers articulated lower satisfaction here, as a majority felt the textbook was not supplemented with sufficient suitable materials, which could be a useful guide for teachers. Moving on to the findings from section B of the questionnaire, which explored the main issues and concerns that teachers face in using the textbook in the ESL classroom. From the findings, it can be seen that teachers' biggest concerns were on the unfamiliar contents of the textbook, as well as the unsuitability of the activities, with 14.9%. So majority of the teachers hold a fair opinion of the textbook with regards to the curriculum and syllabus, physical and utilitarian attributes, teaching and learning content, as well as the supplementary materials. Besides, unfamiliar examples and contents that are used in the textbook is teachers' biggest concern, in which 25.5% of the teachers felt that the unfamiliar contents made it hard for the pupils to relate on what they learn. These findings showed that although teachers had a rather positive view on the textbook, there were still some concerns that need to be addressed for more effective implementation of the textbook at Year 1 and Year 2 levels. So there is no denying that this study has its limitation in terms of sample size, and the findings may not be applicable to all primary schools in Malaysia, as it only involve 60 ESL teachers from the district of Baling in Kedah. However, despite the limitations, this study does provide some light on the use of the textbook and a platform for the teachers to share their feedback, issues, and concerns with regards to a more effective implementation of the textbook. So these findings from this study would be beneficial for the curriculum developers, in which they could consider some suggestions and recommendations presented in the study to further enhance the content of the textbook that are used by the students. That's all from me. Thank you for your kind attention.